You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday. 27th day of October, 2023. I know I'm a few minutes late. Shoot me. That won't increase the odds of me being on time Monday, but I will do my best if you don't shoot me. So anyway, thanks for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. This broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Unlike the first broadcast of the day, our live training room, that's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the top of the page it says 5-day free trial or something like that. Click the link, fill out the registration form correctly, and then the same day, as if by magic, Michael will get your desktop set up, your indicators set up, and then the following trading day, that's when the meter starts running. That's the beginning of your 5-day free trial. So don't worry about what day of the week it is, or weekend, or even hour of the day. Once you sign up for the trial, once your desktop's set up, your indicators are indicating, then you're going to get 5 consecutive days on the trial, even if it stretches over a weekend. Now, the 5-day free trial is not just the live training room. For 5 consecutive trading days, you have access to every resource that our lifetime members have access to. No credit card required. In fact, quite the opposite. We invest our time and our resources in you so that you can make a well-informed and intelligent decision if trading is right for you. That's pretty fair. Maybe I'll take it. Oh, wait, I don't need to. Okay, you got it. mytradingiq.com. The link's at the top of the page. Get your trial going. If you do it today, you'll be able to hit the ground running with us Sunday night. Yep, that's right. I said Sunday night. That's when we start. If you come from the world of equities, you think of the trading week as beginning Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. However, there are a few enlightened human beings around the planet who understand that the futures market opens Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, and remains open around the clock till Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. There's a 1-hour break each day. Yesterday was the Thursday session until 5 p.m. Eastern. And then the markets went quiet for 1 hour. And then last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, That was the beginning of the Friday session. And so today, because it is Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern when the markets close, they'll stay closed till Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so that just repeats itself day after day. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which, as I said, is open to the public. Now, there's two different ways you can join the afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. And that gives you access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. There will be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join the broadcast live. You can. There will also be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you want to check it out later. You can. I speak of our YouTube channel. Easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. And if you happen to be new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but over the years. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, even more. Pick some days at random. Just listen in a little bit. You'll quickly see the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily live broadcast. So we're going to open with our daily devotional, word of prayer, take a look at the numbers from around the world, get started on our recap of the alerts, and then 45 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us and we will take a look at what happened this morning in the live training room. He'll walk you through every trade taken, the ones missed, everything. And then at the top of the hour, we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes of live trading, just like we do in the live training room every trading day. And then I will finish the recap and we'll wrap it up for the week with our good word for the day. So the topic of our devotion for the past week has been conversations with God. Our scripture today is Luke 18, verses 9 through 14. And I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. He told his next story to some who were complacently pleased with themselves over their moral performance and look down their noses at the common people. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee, the other a taxman. The Pharisee posed and prayed like this: "O God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers, crooks, adulterers, or, heaven forbid, like this taxman. I fast twice a week and tithe on all my income." Meanwhile, the taxman slumped in the shadows, his face in his hands, not daring to look up. But he said, "God, give me mercy. Forgive me, a sinner." Jesus commented, "The taxman, not the other, went home made right with God. If you walk around with your nose in the air, you're going to end up flat on your face. But if you're content to be simply yourself, you will become more than yourself." Again, that was Luke 18, verses 9 through 14. So, again, our topic for the past week has been conversations with God. Really, what prayer is interaction with God. How do you feel about communicating with God? More importantly, how are you communicating with God? The psalmist said it this way in Psalm 42, verse 1. "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God." How we approach God is very important. Some people scream, acting as if God is unable to hear them unless they shout loudly. You may have been in a few of those churches. Other people pray very, very quietly. Some people pray for a long time, and some people pray a short prayer. We should ask ourselves, when I pray, am I only using words, or am I communicating with God? And is God able to communicate with me? Do I listen as much as I speak? I think there should be a 10-to-1 ratio there. You know, if you got 10 minutes, talk for a minute, listen for 9. If prayer is conversation, listening is just as important, if not more important, than speaking. And that even plays out in life. How many times have you heard somebody say something positive about another person, and one of the things they say is, "Man, I really like so-and-so because they're such a good listener." In Luke 18, Jesus tells a parable about communicating with God. While the Pharisee made a show of his prayers for all to see, the tax collector was humble and asked God for mercy. The tax collector understood prayer wasn't the end, it was only the beginning of a conversation with God. Through the example of these two men, we are challenged not to use prayer as an outward show of our good deeds, but as the springboard to deeper relationship with God. We must approach God with an attitude of sincerity. Prayer is not merely asking God for all we need or want. It is interaction with the Creator of the universe. It is an essential way in which God transforms us into His likeness. Our hearts must be broken when we approach the living God. Without humility, brokenness, and a contrite spirit, we will be like the Pharisee who prayed, God, I thank you, I am not like other people. When we come to Him humbly, God's heart will be very open to us. And in prayer, we can encounter God anew. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, our hearts humbled by the words of Jesus in Luke 18, where He taught about humility and the importance of a contrite spirit in prayer. As we pray for the continued protection of Israel, we do so with a sense of our own dependence on your mercy and your grace. We continue to also pray for the families of this horrible tragedy that happened this week in the state of Maine. Lord, as we pray today, we lift up the nation of Israel, recognizing the significance of this land and its people in your divine plan. We ask for your ongoing protection, just as the tax collector in Jesus' parable sought your mercy and forgiveness. May your shield of divine protection surround Israel, its borders, and its citizens. Keep them safe from harm, and grant wisdom and discernment to their leaders as they make decisions for the nation. Lord, we acknowledge our own need for humility and prayer, just as the tax collector recognized his own unworthiness. Teach us to approach you with contrite hearts, seeking your guidance and your mercy. And as we continue praying for Israel, may we do so with a sense of empathy and love for all people in the region, recognizing the value and dignity of every individual, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. Lord, we thank you for your faithfulness and the promises you have made to Israel. We trust in your sovereign plan and purpose, and we pray for peace, justice, and the fulfillment of your promises in the Holy Land. And Lord, we thank you that we finally have a Speaker of the House. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen. Well, happy Friday. Been working for the weekend. Here it is. If you missed the workshop last night, it was a pretty good one. If you're a member, be sure and go to the Telegram channel over the weekend. And only ran about an hour, but there's some nuggets in there that just might help you. Okay, starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets or the indices. The Dow is down 162 points. The NASDAQ is up 133. That's a little over 1%. The S&P 500 is up 2.5 points. But our man in the street, the Russell 2000, is down 9. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 60 cents, trading 83.83 last. Gold down $6, trading 19.91.50 last. Silver down 6 cents, trading 22.84 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 389 points. That's over 1.25%. The Shanghai gained 29 points. And for the Shanghai, that's 1%. The Hang Seng gained 354 points, just over 2%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 63, almost 1%. The DAX down 43. The CAC down 93, which is almost 1.5% for the CAC. That gave us a green day in Asia, a red day in the UK, and it is a mixed radio Friday here in the US of A. Got the Dow and the Russell in the red. Got the NQ and the S&P in the green. Now the NQ is pretty solid in the green. It's over 1%. The S&P is now positive by less than 1 point. I have a suspicion that not only the S&P, which now is almost unchanged on the session, and the NQ may end up following the lead of the Russell today. Now, the markets don't always follow the Russell, but the Russell represents 2,000 small cap companies. When people start to learn about futures, they always want to know, well, which one moves first? Because they, being very clever, figure, well, if I know that, then all I have to do is wait for that to move, and then I can trade something else, and I won't even have to work very hard. Well, unfortunately, there is no one index that leads the market every day. But as we've discussed many times on this broadcast, the Russell is one that I look to sometimes to see if it's doing something different than the rest of the pack. And there are times when it leads the way, and there are times when others lead the way. Ultimately, they all go in the direction of the bellwether, which is the S&P 500. So, that done, let's take a look at Logic 247. Now, it wasn't until today that we had a stop out all week. We're in week 273. Over the last 273 weeks, we've issued just shy of 15,300 individual handcrafted alerts. And of those 15,300 alerts, we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out on a weekly basis based on market structure and a very simple risk profile that I teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, this recap is valid as of 7 a.m. this morning. However, We still had 3 waiting at the time of the recap, and I've issued a couple of alerts since then. So this afternoon, this evening, Valerie will do a final recap for the week and post it. So these numbers will change to some degree. As of 7 a.m. this morning, we had issued a total of 43 alerts for the week. 3 never triggered. We were still waiting on 3. 37 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 3% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure, and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. So does that mean that you risk $300 on every Logic 247 alert? Not at all. It's the maximum you ever risk. You use market structure to tell you what risk is needed, and then you look at where your target is, and you never ever want to risk more than the potential profit in any trade, whether it's an alert or a trade opportunity that you find on your own. Now, it's called the Logic 247 Emini alert service, but we also cover crude, gold, euro, bonds, not just the indices. Okay. So last week we wrapped up the week. Last week was one of our worst weeks ever, I think. We closed out the week with 28% being stopped out. But that was only like 4 alerts, because the total number of alerts was only, I think, 27 or something. Anyway, this week we're sitting at 3%. Now, at the end of the day, when Valerie does the final recap for the week, that number will change. To what degree, by how much, I don't know. But we'll know tonight. Now, along with the logic alerts, which are based on current price action, with time built in for you to get the alert, study your 30-minute chart, and see the window of opportunity that the alert represents, and then be prepared when price finally gets there to the window of opportunity. Then you simply do what Michael teaches you to do every morning for 2 hours and 15 minutes in the live training room. You see, our goal for you is that you become self-sufficient. We do not want you to spend the rest of your life waiting on somebody else to tell you when to get in or when to get out. Hopefully, neither do you. Your goal, hopefully, is to be able to look at a chart, see the opportunity, exercise the patience for price to get to the window of opportunity, and then just trade it, get your goal for the day, and have the discipline to put the mouse away. Now, some people are going to try to teach you that the way to do this trading thing is to get more points, right? Our approach is uniquely different. We're happy to just get 2 points a day out of the S&P as an example, every day for the rest of our lives. But what we're doing is we're adding contracts with profit earned in the market. So when you first go live with one contract, 2 points is worth $100. But as you earn your way up the ladder to 5 points, or 5 contracts, then those same 2 points are worth $500 a day. And as you earn your way up to 10 contracts, the same 2 points that used to make you $100 a day, those same 2 points now make you $1,000 a day. And that puts you in the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. It's nice work if you can get it. And you can. You just need somebody to teach you how to do the job. That's why 9 out of 10 new traders fail. It's because they don't have someone to teach them how to do the job. So hopefully that won't be you. Now, we also have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. And they're a little bit different in a couple different ways. Cover all the same markets. But the CTAs are posted shortly after the Globex Open each evening. Remember, Globex opens at 6 p.m. The Friday session started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and this static report was published at 6:20 p.m. Eastern. So once this report is published each evening, Sunday through Thursday, first thing you want to do is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever market or markets you actually trade or want to learn how to trade. And the first thing you do is you make note of where price is at this time. We'll use the ES as an example. It's always going to be between these two numbers, or these two numbers, or these two numbers, whatever market it is you're trading. So make note on your 30-minute chart where price is at the time the report comes out. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target and a line in the sand at the short target on your 30-minute chart. They will serve as great visual cues to keep you on the right side of the street. Now, if price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. Now, in the logic alerts, I've already looked left for you to spot any potential obstacles. Previous swing highs, swing lows that can become current resistance or support. With the CTAs, you're taking another step in learning because you get to look left yourself on the CTAs. You also need to learn, and you will over time, how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's very important because from the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. If price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone below. Once you understand how price behaves at a weekly trading zone, how they serve as support and resistance, in fact, a roadmap for the entire week, are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. They will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. When you take your trial, you'll get to see them in action for a full week. But once you really understand them, they will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. And what's changed since I first stumbled onto this methodology? Nothing. Not a thing. Price goes from zone to zone to zone. When price encounters a zone, it will do one of three things. 70% of the time, consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection, 10% of the time, it will slice through a zone on a 30-minute chart like it's not even there. And when it runs out of steam, it will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. Now, you just have to, see, we've already done the hard work. You just have to resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now we got a few minutes before Michael joins us, so let's go look at the daily chart. Look here. Now, of course, we talked about this in the workshop last night, and we've talked about it every day on the afternoon broadcast since we first bounced off what could potentially become the neckline if we created a right shoulder. We already had a left shoulder. We already had the head. There were two occasions when I thought the pattern might fail, there and there. But we have now traded below the 62% fib. Now, we got a little bounce off the 62. It didn't take us quite all the way back to the 50. But the second move down to the 62, we closed right at it. And then on Thursday, yesterday, we picked right up, continued down. And this is the Friday candle. And last night in the workshop, I said, guys, this is an inside candle, or an inside day, which made perfect sense because the workshop happened at 8 p.m. Eastern, and the markets open at 6 p.m. Eastern, so the markets had only been open a couple of hours. But here we are many hours later, and we still have an inside day. What does that mean? Well, today's candle has not taken out the Thursday high or the Thursday low. It came close to the low, but it definitely didn't break it. Okay? Now, once we take out the low of Thursday, that's if we take out the low of Thursday, the next area you should expect potential support is right here, this low, which is 41.34. And once price gets through 41.34, we have a bullish cross over here. Whenever you have a bullish cross, be it a daily chart or a 30-minute chart, that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. Now, that's proprietary to us. What's not proprietary is the head and shoulders pattern. You'll find it in any Technical Analysis 101 book. You need a head, you need a left shoulder, you need a right shoulder, you need a neckline. Interestingly, the neckline was the 38% fib retracement. So you measure from the top of the head to the neckline, and then once the neckline gets broken, take your measuring stick and you just drag it down to the neckline. And what's really fascinating about this, I'm sure it's happened in history before, the measured move is what that's called, lines right up with that bullish cross. It's like a siren song at this point, just calling price. Now, does price have to stop here? No. Do we expect it to give us a good bounce if and when we get there? Absolutely. Could it turn into a full-on reversal? It could. There's so much chaos on the global stage, on Capitol Hill. And, you know, speaking of Capitol Hill, the gentleman that was finally voted in as Speaker of the House. I never heard of him before. I think he's been in office 7 or 8 years, but he's a representative from, I believe, Louisiana. And since I don't live in Louisiana, it's not that unusual that I would not have heard of him. But I did get to hear him talk last night. Sean did a pretty in-depth interview with him. And this guy is sharp. Clear thinking. In his mind, he plays the video all the way to the end. Okay? So if you don't know who he is, what he stands for, and he said during the interview last night with Sean, it was part of a statement he was making about some other question Sean had asked. He says, I am a Bible-believing Christian. Now you got to know that just throws the left into an absolute mind-numbing tizzy. He talked about marriage. He talked about Roe v. Wade. And like I say, last night was the first time I met him. Well, heard him speak. But I think we got a good one here. Not knocking the ones that didn't get voted in, but I think this guy could be good for America. Remember, he's 2 heartbeats away from being the president. Every Speaker of the House is. I mean, we lived with the specter of doom hanging over our heads for many years when Pelosi was the Speaker of the House. Because if something happens and the president's taken out, vice president's taken out, then the job falls to the Speaker of the House. So, anyway, I'm glad. So far, happy with the decision made. All right. Why are we looking at a daily chart? Because many of you are going, man, I thought you guys were about range charts and maybe 30-minute charts. We are. But the institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Has to do with account size. So no matter what market you trade, stock, Forex, ETF, crypto, if you'll spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you start trading, then you'll see which way the wind's blowing. And remember, I said early, it's pretty simple to get your goal for the day if you know which way the wind is blowing. So, Michael has arrived. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. Then I will complete the recap of all those markets, and we'll wrap it up with our good word for the day.
All right.
Looks good.
All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 27th day of October, 2023. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Just click on this right here. All right, that will set you up for 5 business days in a row. That's going to bring you to this page right here. Hang on, let me refresh this. Hang on. Let me close that one because it should bring you to next week's, not this week's. There it is, next week's. That'll bring you to this page right here, where all you have to do is fill out this little form. Now there is no credit card required, and if you do have TradingView or you have NinjaTrader, give us your TradingView username or login ID, and give us your NinjaTrader machine ID. Okay, if you have both, give us both. Do that, and then watch these videos here so you can see what it's going to be like when you get into the room in the morning. Now these videos are kind of old if you look at the dates on them. Well, it doesn't really give you the date right there, but over here it says Q, so that was back in September, I think. Not September, Q, October. This was August gold. So, you know, the stuff is still the same. It's actually better now. We've improved things. We've added features that make it even better. So check that stuff out. Okay. Spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 27th day of October 2023. Today we made 110 ticks in the NQ, 59 ticks in Russell, 30 ticks in crude, and we got to -4 on the ES. Now we were -20 at one point on the ES, but we got back to -4. That put us at 1,095 on the day, on the morning session. Today it took 9 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. That put up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 36 trades. So what you can tell that starting at 9:15, getting the goal on the first trade doesn't happen as frequently as it used to. This month so far it's twice. Last month 3 times. The month before that 1, 2, 3, 4. The month before that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, about half as often. Anyway, we still get the goal for the day. That's what counts. So on the month now we're at $10,810 per contract. That's with one contract for the first 2 hours. So we're averaging $540 per contract on the month. What did we end up with last month? $335. Month before that, $490. That's good. I figured 540 was a pretty good number. So on the year now we're at 92,104. That's over 205 business days, averaging $449 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you hit your goal for the day, and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year you would only have to work 67.78 hours, so 67 3/4 hours. You would have averaged $2,400 per hour for those 67 3/4 hours. All right. Now we had a lot of trades today, so I'm going to get right into it. We'll start out with the crude oil. We only had 5 on the crude, it looks like, but most of them are all right. We had 1 stop out on the crude. We'll start right here. Our first trade on crude. We had a green arrow right here. This is a long green arrow. The long green arrow is again the higher probability trades. We had one right there that we missed. We took this one right here and we picked up 10 ticks on the crude on that one. The next one we did was right over here. We picked up another 16 ticks on the crude. That got us to 30. I'm sorry, that got us to 26. Sorry, it goes to 26. Then in here, somewhere in here, there was another 4 ticks. I think right somewhere in here, we had another 4 ticks that we got on the crude that got us to 30. And then we stopped out. That -10 got us back down to 20. So I'm missing 1 trade. And then here we got back up to 30. We got 10 more right there to get us back up to 30. And that was it for the crude oil. I don't know where we got that other 4 ticks, but there was definitely a 4 tick gain in there somewhere. We get into the break in here. We had 1 highest probability trade right there that worked out well. 1 highest probability trade here that worked out well. And 1 more right here that's still working out right now. Right? Those long green arrows. You only need 1 of those a day to work out for you. And there's so far 1, 2, 3, 4. That would have stopped you out. 5. So 5 worked and 1 didn't. And all the ones that worked are 30 ticks in profit, and the one that didn't is -20. You can do the math. So if you did them all, that's good. All right, so get into the Russell now. We did pretty well with the Russell today too. Again, the highest probability trades, easy to see, easy to take. That wasn't the only thing that I took. I was still taking the regular green arrows too. But so far you can see that 2 of those trades that I did take were the highest probability trades. Now on the Russell, our first trade here was plus 20 ticks. We had already gotten the goal for the day on the NQ at this point. It took 9 minutes this morning to get the goal. We've got 20 ticks on this one. On the Russell, the next one, that is the highest probability trade right there that I didn't do. This is one that I did do. And we picked up another 10 ticks there to get us to 30. Highest probability, highest probability, highest probability. We took a trade right here. We ended up with a break even on. And another one right here. We went from 30 to 45. So we picked up 15 ticks there. I didn't do that one. I didn't have training today, so you're not going to see big spaces where I don't have any trades because we didn't do any training. But we went from 45 to 57, so I picked up 12 ticks on that one. And then from 57 to 59, so I only got 2 ticks on that one. And I didn't count this one. I got something there and I didn't count it. And that was where we wrapped it up for the morning session. you know what, on that last one, I think I don't know. I don't remember. It was the black arrow here. And I feel like I got 4 ticks in profit on that, but it doesn't really matter. During the break, let's see, we had a couple of green arrows here, nothing with the highest probability. Now the difference is the black line is not in the red. Okay. They're still great trades, still got you some more profit on the morning session. All right, and that was all of that. Now let's look here at the ES. At the ES. Okay. Sliding this. I went too far. Sorry. The ES was our nemesis. We had a break even and then another break even. And then I stopped out -10. And then I stopped out again. I was at -20 at that point. But we got some back here. We got 8 back on that one. That put us at -12. And we got another 8 back on that one. That put us at -4. During the break, we get in here. There was one highest probability trade right here. There weren't too many of those today on the ES. If you look at it, there weren't too many highest probability trades here on the ES. There's one there that worked out just fine. One here that stopped me out. One here that you could have gotten the stop out back anyway. One here that would have been a break-even trade, and one here that gave you enough to take a little bit of profit on that. It didn't put in a lower swing, but enough to take a little bit of profit. But that was how we ended up with the ES, -4 ticks on the ES. The NQ did end up being our big winner again today, but we went back and forth. When we got the goal for the day on the NQ early on, and I'll slide it all the way over here. And bring up the question box also. When I think about it, bring up the question box. Slide it all the way back. All the way back here. Here we go. All right, so this is our first trade of the day on the NQ, and we picked up 20 ticks on that. All right, we just went for the goal for the day on that one. We got 20, got the goal for the day on our very first trade. Next trade here, we got a break even. The next trade here, we picked up 30 ticks. That got us to 50. Then we stopped out, back down to 30. We had a break even in here. Now, just look at the highest probability trades. All right, that first one where we got the goal was 1. That's all you needed. This one right here, I managed to get a break even. I got in on the pullback right here, and I managed to get a break even out of that one. That would have stopped out if I had gotten in the right place. This was a stop out right here. I did get that one, and I stopped out. And we're at -30. We got another 30 ticks here to get us to plus, and we're at 30, and we got another 30 to get us to 60. Then I missed a punch. Highest probability there. Highest probability there. I got a break even on this one. Highest probability here. I picked up 4 ticks on that one to get us to 64. Okay, and then the next one should be a stop out. It is right there. Highest probability stop out. Now I should add my stop at break even on that, but I couldn't move stuff over fast enough, and I was trying to get my down in the right place so you guys could see it, and ended up stopping out. That happened twice on the NQ. This one and the next one, I think. So after that stop out, I was down at 44. Right, but I should have had a break even on that one. Then I stopped out on this, just a regular old stop out on that one. That put me down to 24. Then I missed this highest probability trade there. I missed that one there. And the next trade here, I stopped out again. And that put me down to 4. So I was all the way down to 4 on the NQ at this point. After being up to 64, I worked my way all the way back down to 4. Oops, hang on, let me get the next session here ready to go. With this, hang on, community live streams, it just occurred to me I only have 2.5 minutes left to get that ready to go. I usually try to do this before I even get in here. And so on the NQ now, hold it. We were at this point we're down to 4 plus 4, and I was saying at this point what we need is a good run. We have like 3 trades in a row that we can get something on the NQ, and here it came. I missed this one. Highest probability trade would have given 30 if I got it. I grabbed this one for 4 ticks. That got me to 8. Then I had a break even. Then I grabbed this one for another 4 ticks. That got me to 12. Then I didn't do anything all through there. I got another break even. Then right here, I went from 12 to 42, so I got 20 ticks. Then I went from 42 to 54, so I got another 12 ticks. Then I went from 54 to 74. I'm missing a couple of trades in here. I went from 54 to 74, so I got 20. Then I got 74 to 94, so I had another 20 somewhere in here. I'm missing a few trades. But I went from 54 to 74, so I got 20. Then I went 74 to 94, and I got 20. Then I went 94 to 100. That gave me 6, and then I went 100 to 110. So there's a few trades in here that I clearly did not write down. They might be right through here. I don't know. Or right through here. I thought I got more on this move down here. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, that's how I did it for the day. That was how I ended the morning session. We ended up with 110 ticks. I actually think we had more than that. But during the break, you can see there was a highest probability trade there that worked out. Highest probability trade here that would have been a break even. Highest probability trade there that worked out. One here would have been a break even. One here plus 30. One here plus something. One here plus 30 plus 30. You only got to get one of those, guys. You only got to get one of those. Now, the question might be, why do you even bother with any of the other trades? That's a good question. That's a fair question. If you only have like a small period of time, like say from here to here, you know, you can't wait for the highest probability trade. If you have like, you know, a half an hour window, you know, you get some green arrows, you want to take those green arrows. They're high probability trades. They're not the highest probability trades, but if you have like this period of time here from like 11:50 to 12:04, or from 11:50, let's say you have a half an hour from 11:50 to 12:20, all the way over to here. We didn't have any highest probability trades in there. We did have some nice trades, but none of them were the highest probability trades. Okay, that is why you want to have all the trades available to you. But if you have plenty of time, just wait for the highest probability ones. Makes sense, right? All right, so it is time to start the live stream. I'm just going to click that button. But before I do that, well, I just did that. But I'm going to go back here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, then go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here. In the free trial, we don't ask for any credit card information. Just fill out this. And if you have TradingView, give us a TradingView login ID or username right here so we can set your indicators up for you right away. If you do this today, you'll have them set up over the weekend. Okay. Again, go to mytradingiq.com, click this button right there. Now, these are our results for the morning. We were up 110 ticks on the NQ, 59 ticks on the Russell, 30 ticks on the crude oil, and -4 on the ES. Put us at $1,095 per contract this morning. And today it took 9 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,000. We had 10 contracts. We're up $1,000. We took a total of 36 trades in the room this morning, so we had a lot of trading going on. On the month now, we're at $10,810 with one contract. On the year, we're at $92,104 with one contract. So on the month, we're averaging $540 per contract for the morning session. On the year, we're averaging $449 per contract for the morning session. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, so far this year, it would have taken you $67.78, and you would have averaged $2,401 on the year. All right, let's get into the actual trading now. We have what you set up over here. We had an arrow right here that gave some profit. Now it's going to put in a higher swing. This is the Russell 2000 right here. It just put in a lower swing, so you're looking for a trade there, an opportunity to short the Russell 2000. And so this is the Russell 2000 DOM. The way you do this, you see the high here is at 49.4. Subtract 8 from that. 49.4, subtract 8. So I'm going to sell right there, 48.6. Why that number? Because the bar is going to close right here at 48.7. Right? How do I know that? Because the high of the bar is right here at 49.4. This bar can only be 7 ticks long, 7 ticks high, a range of 7 ticks. So I know what the top is, so I know what the bottom is going to be. If the top stays where it is, the bottom is going to be right here. I want to be in it if it gives us a down close. It's going to be a trade. If it gives us a down close, whether it pulls it out of the overbought or not. And there it is. It just closed down exactly where I said it was and put me in the trade. Slipped me a tick, but still put me in the trade. Slipped me 2 ticks, I think. Now, after 4 ticks in profit, you bump that stop to break even. And so now we're in profit. We anticipate it's going to get down here to 47.6 at least. I like all the way down there, 47.0. Go lock in just 1 tick on this, and let's display out. We had a similar trade over here that just triggered on the ES, and we're in a no trade zone here, so we ended up with just the 1 tick there on the Russell. We're in a no trade zone here on the NQ. This blue background means no trade zone. You'll see you have no arrows at all in here. In any of the blue areas, you have no arrows. So this should get down here. Now it's 47.0 is what I think that will go down to. And that's based upon what I just read in the DOM. Okay. We had a trade over here on the crude. Now this is not a valid trade because this one needed to put in a higher swing. We have an arrow, but it's still not a valid trade. The arrows don't look at the swing high, right? The arrows look at the long-term trend, where the black line is, and whether or not you hit the ribbon. Okay, that's what the arrows look at. We're out of the no trade zone over here. The ES right now, if you look down on the ES is going down to 45.75. I draw that in for you. 45.75 right there. That's what the S is trying to get down to. The NQ, we need a pullback on that. We don't have it.
This thing,
and
it's making me get an ice back again.
What do you mean? Straps are mind-blowing. They collect hundreds of data points like HRV and REM sleep, so you know all you need for recovery.
And you are?
I'm an investor. In Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives me access to
one of the things
NASDAQ 100 innovations like
Tesla.
Wearable training, optimization tech.
How long you
I'm done.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ.
I'm okay.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund objectives, risks, charges,
we were saying
expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
But the charts were saying it was going to go down, and so you had to wait for it did get all that on all those. So you had to wait for I want to go tell you where it's going to go next. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, on the ES, next number down is 4140. 4140 on ES. All right. It may get a pullback before it goes down there, but that's the next number it's going down to. And if it goes all the way down to 4140, then I expect it's going to go all the way down to the weekly trading zone. All right. On the Russell, I can't see as much information on the Russell, but the Russell looks like 45.6. 45.6 is the next number down. I'll draw that for you as well. 45.6 right there. Okay, on the crude oil, let's look at that one. On the downside, crude's not really giving you any information yet on the downside. I don't see anything yet. Okay, so it might get choppy right here for a few minutes. It's actually favoring the upside. I think it's going to pull back some. I think it's going to pull back up to 84.50. The crude should pull back up here to 84.50. Right, so the Russell just hit that number. The ES just hit that number. And the new number is the ES is going to put in a new low of the day, and it's going to go down to 41.38. And the Russell is going to put in a new low of the day, and it's going to go down to 44.6. Okay. I'll draw those in for you. It's already almost down there, about 44.6 and 41.38. It's already down there. Right. Okay, so let me give you the next number down. It's moving too fast for me. 41.35. 41.35. That's right here at the bottom of the zone. That's not real hard to do. But so for those of you guys who don't know, if you're watching in the live stream, you don't know. What I'm doing to you right now is just reading to you straight from the DOM. The charts give you the trade setup. They tell you when to get in. And then you learn how to manage the trade after that. Okay. All right. I've only been talking for 7 minutes. It feels like I've said so many words in the last 7 minutes. Anyway, so we just got down to that other number here on the Russell. Now, again, the Russell, I can't see that far out with it, but it's looking like it wants to keep going down, 43.7. 43.7 is what it's looking like now. Okay, 3.7. That's not that far down. But you know, I like to draw these things where I actually see them, where I tell you about them. So you can see, I can see, you know, where the market was when I said that, roughly. It's like this one, you know, was up here when I saw that number. And this one, it was up here when I saw that number. And this one, it was up here when I saw that. And like all of these, you can see it. I can see more with the ES and the crude oil. I can see more with it.
Yield when in the past you were getting zero.
On the crude, there's still no good number on the downside. 36 is the good number on the downside, 436. But we should get a pullback here on the crude. I'm sticking by my 84.50 number. You can see the NQ's pulled back up and it's testing the ribbon right now. I can't see much on the NQ, and it moves too fast to really give you any information on that anyway. But 60 down to 60, 69 down to 65 on the NQ. Right, there's a shorting opportunity. Right, I think it's 65. Yeah, 65. There it is. Okay, so we're short on the NQ. Now, I don't know if this is going to work out, but I'm going to throw that stop at break even after you get 8 ticks in profit. We already had 8 ticks, so I should have had my stop at break even already. So I'm going to bump it as soon as I can. I should have bumped it already. Needs to go down. Give me another shot at this before it stops me out. This happened to me twice today. I should have had my stop at break even, and I wasn't able to get it there because it moved too fast there. All right. So I need to get that break even on that. All right, on the ES right now, the pullback number on the ES is, there's a few of them, but 4175 is a good pullback number. 4175 on the ES is a good pullback number. Now that one is right, we're almost there already, it's right there. Okay, I'll make that a different color. That's a good pullback number. Okay. And this one over here was a pullback number too. I'll make that a different color too. Okay. We got to break even over here on the NQ. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I'm talking a lot. I'm not giving you a chance to ask any questions. If you're watching in the live stream and you want to know when we do things like this, you need to follow us, right? I always forget to tell you guys that. You need to follow us in TradingView. If you haven't taken a free trial and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this. The trial really is free, right? There's no credit card required, nothing like that. It's really free. So just fill this out. There's no credit card. Gives you TradingView user ID right here. Username, login ID, whatever it is. Give us that right there, and we'll set you up next week. Right? We'll be set up over the weekend. If you do that today, we'll set you up over the weekend. Look, this almost got up to the pullback number there. This just hit the pullback number here. Okay, so the crude did almost exactly what I thought it was going to do, and then it pushed back down. The new number on the downside on crude, it's not getting much below 32 yet. The ES, so let's look at the ES and see what we have on that one. 38.25 on the ES. It could pull back some more though. 42.50 is looking pretty good. 43.50 is looking pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Here's the pullback a little bit deeper here on the ES. That's what I was thinking. 42.50, 43.50. Those are the numbers I just said, right? Let me see. Is there anything else that's popping? 44.50. The ES could have a deep pullback right here. Could go all back into the ribbon. So the crude oil is still not giving anything good on the downside. They're like piecing it out. It looks like it wants to pull back again though, from where it is. Okay, the ES right now, it didn't pop out of the overbought. You'd have a trade right here. You'd have a black arrow right here. Now on the downside, the ES 41.38. I already have 41.35. We already have. So we just need a reason to short it here. It's going to be a black arrow on the down close. Be 42 down to 40 even on the ES, right? Be like that. And it just shorted me right there. Give me one tick of slip. And I'm not really seeing where that should go down to from here. Okay, but after 4 ticks in profit, we're going to bump that stop to break even. I think it just hit 4 ticks in profit. Now 35 is where it's going to go down to, right? I said that a minute ago. So we just need this to get to the point where we don't have any risk on the trade. It hasn't done that yet. And the Russell is going and hitting all those numbers that we gave you. And we need a pullback here on this. Right, and there it is on the ES, stop to break even. Gonna lock in just 1 tick on that. And 35 was the number we gave, right? I'm gonna lock in 4 ticks on that now. And 35 is the number that I gave a few minutes ago, right there. I can just drag this one up. I don't have to put that one on. I can drag this one up at 35 right there. Okay, and the Russell's still going down. I don't have anything. Oops, I almost just put a bunch more orders on there. I'm gonna lock in 6 on this. The ES is going down to the weekly trading zone. You can see that right there, right? It's going down to the weekly trading zone. And I think it's going to go at least to the bottom of the zone is what it's looking like to me. All right. Now, It just took me out with +6, and I'm good with that. Over here on the NQ, we need to hit the ribbon because we changed directions. So we need to hit the ribbon on the pullback. Right, here comes the deeper pullback on the crude. The crude pullback should go up to 84.45. 84.45 now. Right, let me drag this down and put it here. 44, pretty close. The NQ is about to give us a trade on the down close, 64.75 down to 60.75 on the NQ would be the short. There it is. Now that's a ribbon trade right there. Okay, stop to break even on that. I'm going to lock in 2 ticks on that, and I'm out with 2. That's a ribbon trade right there. You didn't get an arrow on this part right here because it didn't pull out of the overbought on that part. You got the arrow on this part because it did pull out of the overbought on that part. All right, but this is a ribbon trade. If you go here to mytradingiq.com, you go to trade rules, entry rules right here. This is it. It's a short trade without a slingshot. It's 1 line of rules right there. Just 1 line. That's it. You just have to know that little bit. Well, you got to do these 2 pieces right here too. Then 1 line right there. That's all you need. Right? All these trades, they're all doing what they should do. This is a great opportunity to trade right now. Everything is working just perfectly right now. Does anybody out there have any questions? I said we were going to go look at Tesla here. I think I said that. We are going to look at Tesla. Right now, as we've been looking at Tesla over the last, oops, that's the NQ. As we've been looking at Tesla, hang on. As we've been looking at Tesla over the last couple of weeks, now it was an inverted head and shoulder pattern, but it was breaking here yesterday. All right, when it broke this part right here, it was breaking, and then we said it's going to go down to this level down here is where it's looking to get down to. All right, so it's done that part right now. It's sort of broken this head and shoulder pattern. It still has to fill this gap, but stocks aren't like futures. With futures, it fill that gap in like an hour. With stocks, it can take weeks to fill that gap up. And you can see right now, the markets, a lot of things seem to be weighing on markets right now, and you can see that Tesla's it's not getting that push up to fill the gap for any reason right now. So it's still looking kind of bearish. This was the green arrow to short it before. Your stop would have been up here, so you've been able to take all that profit. You have another green arrow for a short right here. You didn't put in a lower swing from the last one, so it's not as powerful as this one was. But it should still get down below this level right here, below 202.33. Okay, the highs are lower. The trend is down. You're in a little bit of a triangle right here. What that means is this. You have lower. Hang on. Come on, chart. My chart just choked on me. No, it really choked on me. Okay, let me remove that and see if I can draw it properly. Trend line. There we go. Okay. So right now you have lower highs and higher lows. It's subtle, but they are higher lows. So it's getting in between here. It's going to be going kind of sideways and choppy probably for days, I would think, before it breaks out of this. Now, when it does break out of this, it should break up and fill in this gap right here. But as I always say, trade what's in front of you. Now, this is on an hourly chart, right? I'm sure the 30-minute chart looks something like it. See the same highs and lows on a 30-minute chart, the same triangle. It looks very similar, except it's you can see the chop is just a little bit easier to see here. No matter what we break it down to, if we break it down to a 15-minute, the highs and lows are going to be the same, right? So you're in the same triangle, no matter what time frame you look at, and you can just see the chop better here in a 15-minute. Right, so we'll go back to the hourly, and I'll bump this back so we can do what we do in here. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Got on top of my thing. All right. No questions. Nobody's got any questions. No. If you don't have any questions, then you must know. Everything that I'm talking about. Either that or you're not interested in anything that I'm talking about. I don't know. And either way is fine with me. Look at the gaps. We just got gaps right there. what happened that we got those gaps. Gaps up on the crude. Something just happened globally. I do not know. I don't see anything. Nobody's telling me anything, but I don't think we had any scheduled news right now. No, this was all we had. We didn't have anybody speaking or anything like that. The Euro Summit didn't give us any information on that. And it's kind of late at night over there right now. Well, okay, so with futures, what I was just saying, with futures, the gaps get filled quickly. So all these gaps that you see right here, they're probably going to get filled right now. So again, we're just going to trade what's in front of us. We are just going to trade what's in front of us. And John says he sees nothing in the news. And Jacob asked me a question. And yeah, so we'll wait and see. There's no reason to trade anything right now, guys. There's no reason to trade anything just yet. Right? The ES is going down into the weekly trading zone. It hit all those numbers that I gave you. It's going down into the weekly trading zone. The new numbers on the downside on the ES, 4132 is the new number on the downside. Right? I'll draw that one. I'll just take one of these and I'll draw it down here. Drag it down. 4132 is the new number on the downside for that. Now, we were looking for the pullback up to 84.44 on this. Whatever happened, it gapped us up right through that. And so now you got a highest probability long arrow right there. So let's look up on crude right now, find more targets. There it is, 85. Crude is going up to 85. So all we need to get is a reason to enter it. Okay. Oops, 84.99. Put that at 85. And we'll make it yellow. All right. So we don't have a reason to enter it yet because this is not oversold and this is not touching the ribbon. But it still has a gap to fill down here. But 85 is where it's going to try to get up to get ready for the reason to trade it. It's coming up right here probably. If you get an up close on this, it would be a ribbon trade here. It's not going to be an arrow because we're not coming out of the oversold. All right, but if you get an up close, it'd be a ribbon trade. The black is going to stay in the green. Okay. If you get a down close on this, then that may change everything. And we did get a down close, so it's not necessarily a ribbon trade in here anymore. Well, it's not a ribbon trade. It could be an arrow trade, but it looks like it's going to try to fill that gap right now. It's going to get all the way down here to fill the gap, 84.34. Okay. You mean for a target, Michael? So give you all that slippage when all that happened right there? Oh, in a trade. Well, that stinks. Well, I mean, ended it positive, but would have been better to be plus 200. I have a lot of drawing objects on here. Well, it just gave us a whole bunch of opportunity. I guess what time is it? Wow, I haven't even been watching time. It's 1:22. All right, so we have about 8 minutes left in here. Yes, if you do take the trial, I just saw what Dwayne just typed in. If you do take the trial, once you give us your information, your TradingView username, user ID, see mine over here, I'm logged in as CFRN. Whatever you're logged in as, you give us that information, and then right in here, you'll get the TIQ context and also the slingshot. It'll be in your invite-only script, so you get access to those two things. Okay. Now we have a green arrow here, but it's going right into the weekly trading zone, so that's not a trade that you want to get involved in. We have a green arrow over here. Also, that would have been a break-even trade had I taken it. didn't really have a lower swing. Oh, we absolutely didn't have a lower swing. But you could have taken it if you didn't take any of the black arrows. You could have taken that. We're still looking for this to fill the gap over here. All right, it needs to get down all the way down to right here, 84.34 to fill that gap. And I go all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So we're getting a deep pullback here on the crude. Now this, it looks like it's going to give us a decent trade right here. It's got a high of 65. It's going to have a low of 57 is what you'd be selling on that. 57 is what you'd be selling. It's going to be coming out of the overbought, so it's going to give a black arrow because it hasn't hit the ribbon yet. Okay, it is a trend change. Now it's at the ribbon. It is a trend change. So now 68 down to 59. No, 60. 58 down to 60. 68 down to 60. Okay, close up, not down. So you end up with no trade yet. They're looking at 72 down to 64. Is that right? Yeah, 72 down to 64. Now 73 down to 65. Now 70. I might not get a trade. Not gonna get a trade. Maybe it's a little. That was frustrating. Let me say all those words for nothing. All right, so what was the other symbol that we were looking at? John B. It was American Express, right? Yeah, something like that. Is it DX? No, D doesn't come up. Let's do AOX. No, that's not it. AX. I'm looking to see what comes up in here. It was American Express, I believe. Hey, there you go. American Express AXP, that's what it was, AXP. All right, so we were looking for that. Follow the arrows and work its way down here. And it's still working on it. And that's what we're looking at the past week. Now it was back here, I think, when we first looked at it, right? Today's the 27th? No, it wasn't. It was back here when we first looked at it. Yeah, I think that's about right. It was back here when we first looked at it. We're looking for it to get down here. So if we did the 1 week options, which is what it was talking about doing, then right now they'd be expiring today, I believe. Well, he didn't expire on Friday or Monday. But what he did, it would be in the money pretty good right there. All right, let's go here. We had a nice trade right there that I just missed. We still haven't filled the gap here on this. Still haven't filled the gap. All right, it's 126, guys. So 127. We have about 3 minutes left in this session. And Jacob, did you text me, or are you in here right now listening? I don't know. I know I have a meeting. Okay, he's not in here right now. So we're looking for the pullback here. Now during this session, during this half hour here of this live trading, we've only had one big green arrow right there. That worked out just fine. Yeah, I don't think we had any on the Russell, did we? Yeah, we did right there. We had one there. We took profit on that too, didn't we? I don't remember. Pretty sure we did. Here we have, hang on. We had one back here on the ES that wasn't during the session. Okay, and here on the NQ, we had one right here. One right there. That was it. So that one, break even, that one, break even to stop out, one or the other. And we didn't get one here. But again, if you only learn one thing, learn the highest probability trades, just take them if you have the time. And then what I said earlier, when I was going through all the highest probability trades, you know, we had like, I don't know which one it was on, the ES or the Russell or crude oil, one of those. there were like 7 highest probability trades, and only one of them stopped out in the morning session. So you would say, well, why would you do anything other than that, right? You can go here and you can have just the green arrows, right? You don't have any of the black arrows to distract you. And if you just took the green arrows, one there, the long green arrows, the highest probability ones, one there, and one there, every one of those worked out. Every one of those is enough to get your goal for the day. Well, get my goal for the day. I don't know what your goal for the day is, but that was enough to get my goal for the day. And I believe there were more than that. But we started at 9:15. The only reason you might want to do anything other than that is if you're constricted. If you have a time restriction, if you only have like an hour a day you can trade or 30 minutes, then you'd probably want to look at the other types of trades, all the black arrow trades and whatnot. And I am working on something to give you the higher probability black arrow trades too. You see the longer ones? These longer ones tend to get you in on black arrow trades that and have a little more leg in them. They have a little bit more run to them, typically. Okay. I'm still working on it. That's still on the drawing board for me. But it will narrow down a lot of the trades. Probably, I suppose I could make it so that you don't get any of the smaller ones. But again, for people who only have a smaller amount of time, and they're learning how to trade, you want to understand why you're getting those black arrows. Any of them, the black arrows or the green arrows, whether they be the longer ones or the shorter ones. So you can just put the trades on. God forbid you happen to be somewhere where you don't have your indicators. You'd have an idea of what's going on. On the NQ, it was on the NQ this morning, Michael. Okay. Well, the crude wasn't too bad either. You just saw. That was all right. All right. Well, anyway, guys, it's 9:30. And I'm 9:30. 1:30. It's 1:31 now. So I got to wrap up my session here. Pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio overlooking South Mountain. But if you have not taken a free trial and you want to, if you're watching a live stream, the only way to get access to the indicators is to take the free trial. Go here to mytradingview.com, click on that. It's going to be this exact registration page. Fill it out with your information. Down here where it says TradingView, put in your TradingView username or login ID. All right, give us that information, and we'll set up your indicators for you so you'll be ready to go this weekend. Okay, again, it's mytradingiq.com. Click here. There's no credit card required. Thanks for coming today, and I will wrap up the live stream now. Okay, the live stream is wrapped up, and I can pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Okie doke. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took one trade in 9 minutes to get to $1,000. One trade in 9 minutes.
Nice way to wrap up the week.
It is indeed. All right.
Okay, guys, here's another peek at the daily chart. Now, remember, this low, we talked about this just a few minutes ago. Potential support at this low. Once we take out that low, we got nothing but air down to the measured move and the previous bullish cross. So, see how we're sitting right on that little white line right there on the grid? Right there. Today's low is officially 41.33 1/4, and this low was 41.34. So we've actually taken that out by 3 ticks. But hang on. I'm always suspicious of a new high or a new low, a couple ticks, and on a daily chart, even a couple points. So let the market prove, let price prove itself before. See the bounce, right? That's what you expect when you hit a previous support area. Okay, so getting a little bit of a bounce, but the weight of the world is pushing this thing down. All right, let's run through the alert recaps real quick. All alerts, the logic, and the concierge are based on the 30-minute chart. The vertical line right here separates today Friday from yesterday Thursday. Keep in mind today Friday started last night, Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and these are the weekly trading zones that were published Monday morning for our members and trial members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Here it is on a Friday, doing a beautiful job of being the support we expect. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance. Drops to a zone, support. And this is the lowest weekly trading zone for the week. So we had a gap higher open. We got above the BBC. We had blue and climbing. You got your goal for the day right there. We pull back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. Another opportunity to get your goal for the day. Pull back to the BBC. Another opportunity. Another pullback, but this time you got red and falling overhead. So wait for the bearish cross. That's when the red line gets below the green line. Now we're creating legs in the opposite direction. See, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg. But with red, after we get this bearish cross, now the legs are in the opposite direction. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Sometimes it'll spike it. But look at each one of these candles that spiked it. Spiked the BBC. By the time the 30-minute candle closed, we were back below the BBC. 2, 3, 4 times. This one hit it to the tick. Okay? And now here we are at the lowest weekly zone for the week. Question is, will we close above or below it? Well, it doesn't really matter. We published the zone since December 14th of 2009. Have there been weeks over all those years where we closed below the lowest weekly zone? Yes. Or above the highest weekly zone? Yes. But they have been few and far between. What we expect is at close of business today, price will be at 41.35 or higher. Well, if it doesn't happen, will we change everything? Will we go back to the drawing board? Of course not. Like I said, we've published the zone since December 14th of 2009. It's a long time. 14 years. Every Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Here's the Dow. Here's where the market opened. Never really pulled away from the BBC. You got your goal here, here. Pull back to the BBC. The pullback held. And then down we go. Market finds support. Goes looks for resistance. And then continues down. This is the lowest weekly zone for the Dow. 32,500/505. May we get there by the end of the day? Looks like there's a good chance. So remember, we've got the bigger picture, bellwether, doing its best to get to these areas that are crying out. Okay. On the Russell, we opened right here last night, ran up to the zone and found resistance. Pull back to the VVC, resistance again. Consolidation. Consolidation is what you'll find 70% of the time at a zone. 20% of the time rejection. 10% of the time the slice. Okay. So we get below the VVC, we get a leg. It's your goal for the day, several days. Pull back to the VVC, the pullback holds, and we drop right to the target. Bounce, down we come again. This is the lowest weekly zone this week for the Russell. In Q, a little different story. We gapped higher as we did with the other indices. Got above the BVC, got a leg, goal for the day. A retracement to the BVC, which we expect to be support until proven otherwise. Another leg, retracement, another leg, retracement, and then finally the target. And we pull back, hit the target a few more times. Get a wild spike here at 11 o'clock. And now where are we? Heading for the lowest weekly trading zone. 14,200/14,201. Crude oil. This was the lowest weekly trading zone for the week. We got below it on Wednesday, got below it on Thursday. But by close of business on Friday, we expect to be at the lowest zone or above. So we never quite hit the short target, but as we came out of the gate, got above the zone, got above the BBC. Here's your goal for several days. Pull back to the BBC, run to the target. Then price gets below the BBC, blue and climbing, turns to red and falling, and now we're doing legs in the opposite direction. Leg, trace, leg, trace. Then we get back above the BBC. And where should we expect resistance? 85.54. 85.59. 85.54, 85.59, and then the zone, 86.10. Let's see, goal. Here's where we open, pull back to the BBC, made a run at the long target, back to the BBC, but blue and climbing turned to red and falling, and that took us below the BBC, down to the zone. Okay. Now we consolidated for hours at the zone, wide-ranging consolidation. We did manage to reach the short target. As you can see, the zone ran right through the middle of all this consolidation. Then we hit the long target. Short target, long target. And right now, we're trying to get through the weekly zone at 2004/2005. Spiked it, but there's still 18 minutes left in the life of this 30-minute candle. So where this candle closes, if this candle closes up here, then you should be thinking about a run to the next zone. If this candle fails to close, see yesterday, we had a high at this zone. We had support at this zone. Okay. This 30-minute candle fails to close above this zone, I would not go long. Now, let's say price were to drop, down to the target. Then you get your next 30-minute candle and it starts printing green. Would I trade that up to the zone? Yes, I would. Silver, here's where we opened. Made a run at the long target and came up just a little shy, but you only need 2 pennies of movement. 2 pennies, like from 2303 to 2305. Go for the day. Okay. Then we get below the BBC and we come just shy of hitting the short target here, just shy of hitting the long target here, short target here. Now we're making another run at the long target. 2303 to 2305. That would do it. Sure would. And euro. Here's where we open. Pull back to the BBC. The pullback held. Gave us the leg, but it didn't take us all the way to the target. Pull back to the BBC, consolidated, and we dropped to the zone below. Zone that was published Thursday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And what did it do? It served as good support. Then this candle, remember 10% of the time, the slice. This green candle sliced through the zone like it wasn't even there. Then it retraced to the zone. The zone is 15,980/985. And then it continued in the direction of the slice. Almost to the target. And then a pullback to the zone below. And then all the way to the zone above. So we went from zone to zone. Back to the 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 zone. Now we're below the BBC. This area right here, this bullish cross. Okay. Expect that to be good support at least the first time down. Does that always happen? There's very few always in the world of trading. Is it an extremely high probability? Yes. Should it be good enough for a bounce? Yes. Could it just swoop through it? Sure. You have to embrace all possibilities. But you learn over time what the most high probability move is. You want to get to the point where you can look at any chart and know with certainty what the next high probability move is. Now, knowing what's going to happen next and knowing what the next high probability move is are two completely different things. People will try to convince you that they know what's going to happen next. Go look at their track record. We tell you that we'll teach you how to know what the next high probability move is. Go look at our track record. Okay? This low right here. Bullish cross. But there's still lots of time left in the life of this 30-minute candle. See how blue and climbing, starting to hook over, turn to red and falling. So there you have it. Here we are. Still sitting on that low. If this afternoon, the institutions don't want to carry anything home over the weekend, you can expect a drop into this area. And that could be where we open Sunday night. If we don't get there today, then be aware of it on Sunday night. Let's say the market's open Sunday night and there's this sudden drop. Remember this conversation we're having right now. And don't be so worried about the drop. Be more concerned about the potential bounce that it could give you. Maybe all the way back to the 62. All right. Become a lifetime member. Go here. eminifuturestrading.com. Passport is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future. Once you purchase your passport, there are no recurring fees. Not weekly, not monthly, not annually, not ever. There's no upsells. No nonsense. All that stuff that aggravates you about every other place you've ever been, we've removed those things. Why? Because they aggravated us back in the day. So if we can make your life a little bit simpler, that's all right. That's our goal. That's our game. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Since 2008, we've been working on this strategy, on this indicator set. All the questions that can be asked have been asked and answered. And a question asked this week, a year from now, if somebody asks the exact same question, and they will, inevitably, probably many times between now and a year from now, the answer will always be the same. You're not chasing a moving target here. Learn the strategy, learn how to read the indicators, learn how to look at multiple time frames and use the weekly zones. I know that sounds like a lot, but this is lifetime membership, okay? Based on the 2420 blueprint, you could be ready to go live in 10 days. If it takes you longer, that's okay. It takes as long as it takes. In the 2420 blueprint, you'll be instructed to put together 10 consecutive days in a row in sim where you reach your goal, 10 trades or less. Only then should you even consider trading real money. Unless you just want to blow up another account. Remember, we're different. We don't just sell you a set of indicators, in a PDF with some instructions. We actually teach you how to trade. And we're not teaching you how to trade a specific instrument. Because price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Now, that's a very valuable life skill. Once you learn our methodology and how to read our indicators, you can trade futures, you can trade stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Don't pigeonhole yourself with the, I only trade the S&P. I mean, if you only want to trade the S&P, you can. That means you're going to have to sit there some days, for a while until you get that proper setup. But once you understand that we trade every market exactly the same, then you saw how my charts are tabbed at the bottom. I can click on the US. Is there a setup? Nope. Dow? Nope. Russell? Nope. NQ? Perfect. Now, I might have had to sit for an hour or more for that perfect ES setup. Now, warning, the NQ is extremely volatile. Okay. And in fact, we had a member this morning who had a $200 price target and ended up with 45 bucks. That's how fast that NQ can move. So don't cut your teeth on that. S&P, Dow, crude, gold, something that's not quite as erratic as the NQ. Does the NQ give lots of opportunities? Yes. Does it eat your lunch often? Yes. So I enjoy watching it, but I don't trade it. Okay. It's just too erratic for me. Now, once you become an accomplished trader and you've got a huge account and you're a discretionary trader and you're willing to risk, you know, a couple $1,000s on a trade perhaps, maybe the NQ's for you. It's your trading business though. You do what works for you. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have a teacher. This article was written in 2006. All the facts were there except this part. Why? So I became a man on a mission. Why would 90% of people wash out in any industry? And I came to this. No teacher. If you want to make donuts for a living, you're going to need somebody to teach you how to make donuts. You want to be a plumber, electrician, a pilot, a doctor, an attorney, whatever career path, cybersecurity. Somebody's got to teach you. But with trading, the markets are voracious. They need liquidity. And that's how the market sees you, as liquidity. That's why the barrier to entry is so low. If you got $2-3 grand to stick in an account, poof, you're a trader. Not a profitable trader, but you can call yourself a trader because you have an account with some money in it. That's just the beginning. That's like going to get your school supplies before the new school year starts. Remember when you were kids, mom would take you to, I don't know, wherever, to Kmart, or I don't think Target existed back then. So you get your number 3 lead pencils, just before we knew lead wasn't good for us. Get your little lunch box, your little composition books. You should view opening an account like that. Okay. So now I got my pencil. Now I got my paper to write on. Teacher, teach me. And that's what we do for 2 hours and 15 minutes every trading day. 9:15 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you've already been through the trial, go here to get your passport. EminiFuturesTrading.com. If you have any questions, call Valerie, 949-42-EMINI. Or send an email to support@cfrn.net. Now, as a passport holder, lifetime membership, no recurring fees, that doesn't just give you access to the live training room. It gives you access to all of our Telegram channels, a community where you can freely talk with our other traders. You can do that even on your trial. Unlimited one-on-one private mentoring, a strategy and indicator set that you own for life as a passport holder that's fluid across all markets and all time frames. And as a passport holder, you'll get the Logic 247 alerts, concierge trade alerts, be able to attend the Thursday night members only workshop, all that and much more. Truly it is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Pay once, never spend another dime with us. Let's wrap this week up with our good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about praying for the desire to forgive. We know we're supposed to forgive, sometimes we just don't feel like it. Today we're going to talk about trust God and do good. Psalm 37:3. Trust in the Lord and do good. Live in the land and cultivate faithfulness. Sometimes when we have problems, we withdraw from normal life and spend all our time obsessing and trying to solve them. Talk about them to anyone who will listen. All this is an unproductive activity that prevents us from doing what we should be doing, which is doing good. If you want to experience the benefits of God's faithfulness, you must do two things. Number one, trust in the Lord. And then two, do good. When we have problems, it feels counterintuitive to focus on blessing others. But it's not. It's actually a very powerful thing to do. It takes your mind off yourself and your problem. Plus, you're sowing good seed that ultimately brings your good harvest. Falling into self-pity, fretting, and talking negatively prevent God from helping you. But trusting Him and persisting in doing good for others release Him to work on your behalf. We may know it's wrong to worry and yet continue worrying. We must realize that none of God's promises work for us until we actually obey His word. Knowledge alone will not solve your problems. You must take action and be obedient, no matter how you feel. You might not feel like keeping a commitment or doing something to help someone else, but when you do it, God goes to work on your behalf. So, one of the keys to overcoming fear and worry is doing what God has told you to do, regardless of how you feel. That's our good word for the day and for the week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.